BANkaJI.
Hello there, BANkaJI here. I'm going to show you how to make your music better so you could play it at live shows and festivals and get booked. Alright, so we got this drum beat right here. Not too shabby, not too bad. So what we're going to do to beef it up more. There's a couple things that we can do here. One is I want to add some like organic layering, something to just make it sound different. So one thing you can do for this is Foley sounds. Foleys are samples that are like taken from nature, just like, like this, smacking that, just random sample sounds. All right, so I actually have a pack that you can download on my Patreon. It's full of like sounds that I recorded with a field recorder in the woods. I got it on here. It's called In the Woods. And what I'll do is I'll find like a short sample I got here. Breath. I'm going to find a wood sample. I'm going to layer that with a snare right now just to give it some organic sound. So I'm not going to put it in the snare group. I'm going to put it below, make a new one with Control or Command T. Going to drag that sample in there. And then I'll unwarp it for now, and we'll work with it in here. So I want to get that snap sound right here to happen right on that kick. So I'll just line it up, maybe right there, and we'll cut it off right here. Do a little fade. And then let's see how that sounds. So I'm going to solo the drums. You hear that crunchy. Also, I'm just going to throw a limiter on this master. And what that's going to do is just keep it from redlining as we build stuff. Sounding pretty cool. What we could do is move this around a little bit more. Yeah, like that. All right. Throw a little reverb on it. I have a return track right here that has a reverb. You can do this with a stock Ableton reverb. I just have EQs before and after it, cutting off the lows. Don't want too much. Another thing I'm going to do is, since this is a snare layer that we're adding, I'm going to add an EQ right here. What we're going to do is we're going to add a filter. Do a low pass filter, click that, make sure it's on. And we're just going to be cutting off all the lows that we don't need on there. We can find another sample real quick. We can do like an ice hit right here. Ooh, look at that. That icy hit. We're going to layer it right there so it smacks right there. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, and then we can see the difference. It adds just so much. And remember, cutting off the lows on this is important as we get into mixing. This is what makes your drums ready for this these live shows, these festivals, is making sure that the mix is good so everything is pushed up. Next, to beef up this drum a little bit is we can do the same thing to the kick. So let's go ahead. Let's add the same thing for this kick, and we can add it on this. We'll just call this channel wood, even though we're probably going to add other stuff. Let's do a short one for these kicks, I guess. All right, that's a good one. It's already got some low to it. So let's go ahead, throw it in there. We'll get this reverb, or we'll get the unwarp it. And then we're going to get this thud where we want it. Line it up right underneath the kick. Make sure that these lows aren't coming through. And remember, we can move this around a little bit if we want. I kind of like that. Let's do another one. Another thud. Okay, let's keep that little. Actually, no, we'll get rid of that. We're gonna line it up so it works. I'm just gonna take that off. Let's line it up. Let's see how it sounds right now. Move it. I like it a little bit delayed. And we can lower the volumes right here if it's a bit too loud. It is sounding a bit too loud on that end. There we go. All right, that's already sounding a lot better by just adding those organic those just wood sounds, organic sounds, I guess. These sounds that are recorded from somewhere else to make it sound less digital. All right, I'm just going to color that, keep everything organized. So next, what we're going to want to do to beef up these drums is we're only working in 2 bars right here. We already got a lot of variation. Let's duplicate that. All right, and then let's just think of some variations that we're going to do over here. So one, we can move these kicks around. And remember, if we're moving the kick, we got to remember to move the layering that we have for it. Okay, and you can hold Command to do both things. So clicking, holding Command or Control, click, click, and then we can just move it slightly. And then also we can hold Option, click to duplicate. We can shrink these a little bit if we want it to be shorter. And we can also move these to 8 notes if we want the grid to make things easier for us. Ooh, let's add another one of those. I'd like that. There we go. And how we can add some variation with our snare is by having, let's throw something weird on there. Let's do something more advanced. So I'm gonna go up to my audio effects. I'm gonna do grain delay. Just throw the stock grain delay on there. And let's just throw it right on the snare group. And what we're gonna do right here is we're gonna get some sampling. We're gonna get something from these snares that we can resample maybe. So I'm gonna do that is I'm just gonna make a new audio, Command Control T. I'm gonna drag it down here so it's not affected by any of these groups. Click right here and do resample. I wanna make sure that this channel is off and hit record on it. Next, we're going to solo our snare group. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the reverb off. We'll remember that it's at 56. And we're going to mess with this grain delay as we are recording. So I'm going to hit the record button right up here. All right. And then I'm going to hit the space bar as I move this grain delay around. And we got some different sounds there that we can work with. Let's take a listen. Pretty cool. Nothing too interesting. So what we can do instead of setting these to frequency and pitch is we can set it to like feedback frequency. Let's see if this changes our outcome at all. So we're going to hit record, make sure that this is armed, and we're going to solo the snares up here. Let's go ahead and move it around as it goes. Pretty cool. So that one, this one's pretty cool. I like this one right here. You can just take one that you like out of them. All right. And then I'm going to just line it up with a snare right here. Oh, yeah, my bad. And then let's take off the grain delay. And let's see how it sounds with the snare on there. Pretty cool, right? We can make sure that we cut off all those nasty low ends, right? Okay. And then we'll throw it up here, not into the kick snare group, but below like where wood is. And we can call it snare effects. All right. So then we got a little snare effect right there. Now let's listen to the whole thing. Let's throw a little reverb on it. I remember to add the reverb back on here. It was 56 around there. A little variation right there. We don't even need this other one on there. Let's color it somewhere, something weird so we remember. All right, so we got our kick snare. We got our snare effect. We got our wood layering. We got our perks. We got our hats. We got a lot going on here. All right, we can use this same kind of effect that we did on the snares for this grain delay, recording it. We could do this on something else. So we can just like get rid of these automation, delete. And then let's what do we want to vary it? Maybe the hats, maybe these snares, but I say we mess around with these hats. I think that would be cool. So let's take that grain delay effect. We're going to throw it on our hats now. All right. And then we're going to make that automation again. Resample. Make sure it's recorded. Things off. We're going to solo our hats. Oh, it already sounds so weird. Let's get that reverb off so when we record this, it doesn't affect it as much. And instead of messing with like feedback and frequency, let's maybe do like pitch and frequency. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to start this over here. I'm going to hit the record button, and I'm going to move this around as it goes. Oh, that last one actually sounded really cool. Maybe I can spread that out. There we go. I got it right there. All right. Let's take a little listen. We're going to turn that effect off. Solo these. Take a little listen. So there we go. We got some variation. We got something going on there, you know? Name that hat effect. So we got variation on our kick, snare, hi-hats, all these things. Duplicate it. We can make it so this doesn't come on in the beginning and it's just these sounds. Sweet. The last thing I would do in this to make this drum beat complete, beyond adding some other elements, is we want to fill. We got some bars here, but then we don't have something to have like space in these drums to give us a little breath. For instance, I'll show you, instead of having this snare, we can replace this with something else. So this section, right when our snare hits, we could fill this with something else. So let's get rid of everything after that point. All right, just so we can hear it without any fill, right? That. We got this space right here. We can fill that with a bass sound, just like a normal drum fill. I'll type in drum fill and see what happens. Drum fill 140. Let's see if I got anything at 140. I mean, nothing good, but I'll just show you, you know? There we go. It just makes it sound so much better by adding a fill. All right. So with those steps, I would, you could add more variation, more effects onto your drums. You could add like a fill right here, too. But make sure you at least apply some of these techniques that I'm showing you here in your drums to be able to up them a bit. Next video, what I'm going to be going over is applying some bass sounds and some melody, where I would take this next. If you want to check out more videos or download this project file, check out my Patreon where you can do that. Until next time, check out the next videos.